The Yankees didn't just lose a playoff series, they were dismantled, outclassed, and sent home in a way that felt less like competition and more like public humiliation. For a franchise built on 27 titles, endless October expectations, and a payroll that dwarfs most clubs, getting bounced in the ALDS by a Blue Jays team that wasn't supposed to be here reverberates far beyond the field. National TV audiences watched the pinstripes crumble in prime time, luxury suites went dark weeks early, and a front office now faces questions that go well beyond lineup cards. This wasn't a coin flip series. It was Toronto methodically exposing every crack in the Yankees foundation while the baseball world watched and wondered if the sport's most iconic brand just slipped toward irrelevance. Toronto's dominance, by the numbers. The Blue Jays outscored New York 23-9 across 4 games, a run differential that screams control. Their pitching posted a 1.87 ERA, holding the Yankees to a .191 team average, the franchise's second lowest mark in any playoff series of the wild card era. Aaron Judge, the $360 million face of the franchise, slashed .154/.250/.231, OPS .481, with 7 strikeouts in 26 plate appearances. Garrett Cole's four-seam dipped to 96.1 miles per hour in Game 3. He allowed 5 earned in 4.2 innings, with 2 homers. The bullpen surrendered 9 runs in 12.1 innings, 1.78 whip, validating pre-series fears rather than defying them. The crowds, cameras, and the collapse of confidence. Rogers Center averaged 49,847, raucous, revival-level crowds. Yankee Stadium drew 47,312 and 46,891, but the vibe turned fatalistic by the 7th inning of Game 4 as bleachers thinned. Secondary market prices for a potential Game 5 cratered from $287 to $143 within 2 hours of the final out, an abrupt 50% value shock. Online, #FireCashman trended nationally with 127K mentions. Sentiment tracking on #Yankees plunged to deeply negative territory. Toronto rode the wave at Blue Jays gained 14,300 followers in 24 hours. Vlad Jr.'s jersey sales spiked 340% on Fanatics. Lineup failures, scouting failures. Judge wasn't alone. Giancarlo Stanton went 3-for-17 with 6 Ks, 0 RBIs. Anthony Rizzo hit .133. Gleyber Torres mustered 2 hits in 18 ABs. As a team, New York struck out 42 times against only 11 walks, 3.82 kBB, a portrait of impatience and poor plan. Kevin Gausman dealt 7 shutout innings in Game 2, carving with fastball/splitter the Yankees should have anticipated. Chris Bassett gave 6 innings of 1-run ball in Game 4. New York collected just 4 hits. The vaunted analytics edge? Out-prepped and out-executed. Ratings and relevance. The series averaged 4.2 M viewers on TBS, down 19% from the Yankees' 2022 ALDS. Game 4 peaked at 5.1 M in the 8th, but slid to 3.8 M by the last out as casuals tuned out. Yes averaged 1.1 M in market for the 2 Bronx games, down 23% year-over-year. Streaming hit 620K concurrent in Game 3, still 12% below comparable legacy matchups. Yankees October was supposed to be appointment TV. This felt like a slow-motion disengagement. Toronto's plan versus New York's myths. The Jays attacked high heat up in the zone, spun breaking balls away from righties cheating inside, and punished an overworked bullpen. Hitters laid off Cole when the four-seam lacked carry, hunted counts, and crushed mistakes. Vlad Jr. went 7-for-16 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Bo Bichette stacked extra base hits. Dalton Varsho extended innings. The Yankees weren't unlucky. They were systematically outthought and outplayed. A drought that defines an era. No title since 2009, the longest gap since 1978 to 1996. This was the 4th division series exit since 2017, catastrophic for a $289 million payroll. The ROI math is damning. $289 million for 1 postseason win. Brand promises, October relevance, ratings, premium deals, crack when results don't follow. Front office on the clock. Brian Cashman, GM since 1998, enters the final contract year amid the sharpest scrutiny of his tenure. Hal Steinbrenner's steadier, corporate approach has preserved profits. Forbes values the club at $7.1 billion, but not championships. Draft misses, uneven free agent bets, and a development pipeline that's produced exactly one franchise cornerstone, Judge, fuel the case for change. Boone's margin evaporates. Aaron Boone is 37-37 in the postseason over 6 years, .507. Questionable bullpen choices dotted the series, sticking with a fading Cole too long, a quick hook on Clay Holmes, reactive subs. His clubhouse skills are real. The October tactics keep undercutting them. The luxury tax treadmill. A projected $308 million luxury tax payroll puts New York in the top penalty tier, roughly a 95% tax on dollars over the threshold, plus draft and international constraints. With few impact prospects, they must spend to compete. Spending triggers more penalties. Penalties limit future flexibility. It's the definition of a hamster wheel. Yes, and the media machine. Yes generates an estimated $350 million annually, built on the assumption of deep Octobers. Early exits kill premium inventory, weaken ad leverage, and spook sponsors who pay postseason premiums. Regular season viewership slipped 11% year-over-year. The ALDS flop compounds the trend. Merch, tickets, and erosion at the edges. Judge's jersey remains elite, but dipped 14% from 2022 MVP highs. Team merch ranks second in MLB, but postseason lifts were a meager plus 18% while advancing clubs soared 60% plus. Resale prices fell 9% YOY. Legends' suite occupancy dipped under 70% in September. A 3 to 5% renewal slide would shave millions from guaranteed revenue. Contextual losses. Not a one-off. In 2017, New York at least went 7 with Houston. In 2021, one-game chaos at Fenway. This time, for games of methodical defeat. 9 runs in 4 games, 2.25 per, is the Yankees' second lowest playoff scoring rate since 2001. Only then it was Johnson and Schilling, not a regular season 4.12 ERA staff. Toronto's blueprint versus New York's bloat. The 2015 Rangers takedown foretold this. Develop young stars, add smart bets, ride momentum. In 2024, Vlad/Bichette plus Gaussman/Bassett formed a balanced core. The Yankees poured $92.3 million into Judge, Cole, Stanton for a 7-4-48 combined line. Toronto's entire rotation cost $61 and suffocated New York. Payroll didn't decide it, process did. Judge's October gap. Judge's postseason line, .207/.309/.428, sits miles from his regular season .940 OPS. The 203-point OPS drop is among the largest for active players with 100-plus playoff PAs. Sample size is a crutch. 60 postseason games is a resume. George versus Hal. George is impulsive. Win-at-all-costs era produced 7 titles and relentless urgency. Hal's prudence and patience have preserved stability and a 14-year title drought. Cashman and Boone would never have survived this long under the elder Steinbrenner. Broadcasts, betting, sponsors, spillover. Networks lost a potential 5th ALDS window worth $18M in ads. Books saw public money lean Yankees and got paid when Toronto closed. Futures interest in New York dipped sharply week over week. Sponsors lose national stage visibility. Renewal leverage shifts their way. Real-world economics. The Bronx forfeited millions in local game day revenue. Toronto enjoyed hotel sellouts, restaurant booms, and transit spikes. Winning and losing, October still moves city economies. The social graph flips. Pre-series optimism flipped to a torrent of negativity by Game 4. #Fire Cashman surged. Judge mentions skewed critical. At Blue Jays and Vlad Jr. added followers and engagement that correlate to merch and sponsor value. Contracts that corner the future. Judge's 9-year/$360M deal runs through 2031 with no opt-outs, trading it as a fantasy. The roster must be built around him, like it or not. Cole's opt-out/opt-in dance forces an unappealing choice. Pay to keep a declining velo ace through age 38 or lose him and spend even more replacing him. Free agency mirages. Juan Soto would cost $500M and push payroll into penalty purgatory with uncertain October payoff. Infield fixes, Adams/Bregman, will be expensive and aging. Buying titles hasn't worked. Doubling down likely won't either. If not Cashman/Boone, then who? A real reset requires admitting the model failed and empowering a builder. Think a Stern-style architect with full autonomy. Or, at least, a philosophical shift toward player development and modern pitching labs. A new manager might change tone. Infrastructure changes outcomes. Jays rising, Yankees stuck. Toronto's core is young, affordable, and extensible. The Yankees' farm ranks low. Flexibility is thin. Without fundamental change, the gap widens. What the narrative loss really means. The Yankees didn't just lose to Toronto. They lost the aura that their brand wins Octobers by default. The Jays outpitched, outhit, and outmanaged because their organization is aligned from scouting to strategy to execution. The Yankees paid for stars and hoped. Consequences and crossroads. Media revenues stagnate, sponsors push back, merch flattens, renewals wobble, and tax penalties bite. The Jays' sustainable model: develop, supplement, execute, travels. New York's spend and hope does not. The questions that decide everything. Will Hal finally separate profitability from competitiveness and make real changes, front office, development, philosophy, or apply cosmetic fixes and recycle the narrative? Can a $289 million operation retool around youth, labs, and discipline, or will the AL East, Toronto, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, a resurgent Boston, leave them behind? If a roster headlined by Judge and Cole at $289 million can't beat a Jays team spending roughly half, what does that say about what the Yankees stand for now? The answer will determine whether this ALDS humiliation is a footnote or a franchise turning point.